Hi, Grace Hart here. Welcome to Transformational Tarot Readings. This week's card is the Eight of Swords. Now, Eight of Swords is all about the feelings of entrapment, and it's generally depicted by a woman who is standing in a vast field that doesn't look very pretty, grey skies, and but the significance of the card is imagined. And so it's imagined threat, imagined harm. And the card that I'm looking at the moment is very similar. However, what I want to direct you to is they all have the same imagery where it appears this person is bound, blindfolded, and encased in a circle of swords. And when you look closely, like when you first look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, this woman's trapped. She's got nowhere to go. It's a terrible scenario, worst scenario possible, no way to escape. She can't see, she can't move her arms. And even if she could, she's trapped in a circle of swords. However, when you look closer, you realize that her blindfold is actually her headscarf that's just dropped. And you realize when you look at the ropes around her, her hands are actually holding up the ropes. If she just dropped her wrists and put her hands by her side, the ropes are so loose that they would just shimmy off her body. And then when you look at the circle of swords, you notice that they're placed so far apart that she could easily just walk through them. So the meaning of the card is sometimes we're our worst enemy, and sometimes we've gotten ourselves into a survival state where we think we have no choice. And so this is for all the people out there to know that even no choice is a choice. What I do want to say is if you're one of those people who feel so trapped, so alone, that things are never going to change, please know that there's a good chance that the reason you feel that way is that you've gone into survival brain, and you've also gotten to a place where your energy is so low that even just getting out of the bed in the morning, for example, is hard work. And chances are, if that's the case, you've got a lot of cortisol or adrenaline in your system. So the meaning of the card is, even though it looks that way, even though you may feel that you can't see, or you feel the restrictions of the ropes around you, or you're encased in a situation or circumstance where you feel like you can't get out of, please know that there are choices. But right now you don't have access to them for one reason. Firstly, you don't have the energy to actually know that a different possibility exists. And due to not having energy, you don't have connection to your smart brain. You're in survival brain. So you can't even cognitively get the possibilities and the possibilities out there. So the first step is, if you're feeling that way, is acknowledge, even though this is happening, even though I feel trapped, even though I think or sense there's no way out, even though, just acknowledge that. And then it's like, well, okay, even though I know that, what else is possible? I equate it to, imagine that you're hidden in a closet and all you can see is the closet. However, that closet's in a room, but you can't see that room because you're in the cupboard that's shut. And then let's say you've even were able to escape that cupboard, you would see the room. But do you see that there are other rooms in the house? Or even that you're in a house? Or even if that house is on a land, in a state or territory? And then that state or territory is, on planet Earth, and that planet Earth is in the universe? It's the same with choices. When we feel trapped, it's usually because we're stuck in a cupboard. We're stuck by our conclusions, our definition of what's happening, our desire to fight for the rightness of our point of view. But if we're willing to acknowledge, hang on a minute, maybe there's a view of possibilities I can't see here because I'm so trapped in my survival brain where I'm just looking at the problem. Maybe if I expand my horizons, I can actually start to look at other possibilities, engage with other people, get their advice, their counsel, make different choices. But none of that's available to you when you don't have any energy. So if you don't have any energy, your first thing you need to focus on is getting some energy. And that could be as simple as asking yourself, what makes you feel good? What makes you feel like you got more energy? Is it watching a particular comedian? Is it listening to a YouTube person? Is it having a bath or going out in the forest or spending time with a friend that is empowering and not judgmental? And start to do those things. Start to move your body in a way and take actions to bring more energy in your life. When you have more energy, you've got an ability to look at getting into the different part of your brain. And when you do that, it's beautiful because as you expand, people will start to notice you, you'll start to engage, and your body systems will be open more to receiving that information. So 8 of Swords is, even if it feels really bad, even if you've got proof on how really bad it is, even if you could tell me a reason, a million reasons why it won't change or can't change, or how you've tried and it hasn't, I get it. I've been there. However, please know, if you change the energy, you will change your life. And I do have other podcasts that talk about these things, from Beyond Domestic Violence podcast, as well as energetic self-defense. And all these things will help you to get out of that feeling like nothing's going to change or nothing can change, or you just need to put up with your narrative. You don't. Things can change. And that's the gift of this card. Even though it looks like you're trapped, you're not. And that's why I love this particular card deck. This one, yes, she's depicted in, and it's Chris Ann's The Light Seers Tarot that I'm talking about. When I look at this picture, it's beautiful because in the mirror, there's a girl looking in a mirror. When she looks in the mirror, she sees exactly what I described: blindfolded, bound, restricted. However, the actual full card is a very healthy, beautiful, unbound, fully seeing, able to move person that's looking at that mirror. So it's no different to an anorexic who, sees something other than what's actually true. And so this is actually looking at someone in the mirror thinking you're trapped, you're bound, but you're actually not, you're free. So please acknowledge, even if you're feeling that way, there are things you can do that can change to open you up to possibilities. And also you might just acknowledge, depending on what's going on for you, you might just acknowledge, actually, is this true? Do I need to really worry about this? Or am I just being hypervigilant here? So this week, that's what I'd love you to focus on. Just become really aware of where your mind is trapping you, where your hypervigilance might be trapping you. And the best way to get out of that is to ask a qualifying question. So if you're worried about someone, ask them a question. If you're worried about something, what question can you ask to give you the information to get clarity on that situation, instead of you just keeping on nodding yourself up in your own mind? All right, till next week, take care. Bye.